Good evening. And first at 5, 6 people are under arrest after a child predator sting in Washington County. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko. The sheriff's office has arrested half a dozen men between 19 and 29 years old, now charged with child luring and online sexual corruption of a child. One of the suspects, Sean Baba, police say works as the director of music ministry at St. Pius X Church and School that's in Cedar Mill. According to police, the school says it is fully cooperating. Another suspect, Tavari Jenkins, works as director of child development for the after-school Club K program in Tigard. Now, we have reached out to both those organizations. The sheriff's office says it used dating apps and social media to pose as underage boys and girls. It says the 6 suspects all agreed to meet with minors for sex, even when they were aware of their age. Detectives are releasing these photos because they believe these men could have other victims. We'll have much more on this tonight on KGW News at 11, and we'll keep you updated as we learn more. Well, we are less than 2 days away from a major disruption to MAX service, one that is expected to cause significant delays across a section of the system for 3 full weeks. So how much extra time do MAX riders need to budget? Our Kyle Iboshi went to find out.
There are some big changes coming for people who ride MAX Light Rail. Starting Sunday, there will be service disruptions along one of the busiest stretches in Northeast Portland. Train service will be suspended for 3 weeks so that crews can add new switches and track. They'll also be doing other maintenance work along the line.
It's going to cause a lot of problems. A lot.
The maintenance has to be done, so, they got to do what they got to do.
Here's a map showing the closure. MAX trains, including the green, blue, and red lines, will be suspended from Northeast 7th Avenue to the Gateway Transit Center. This will impact stops at 7th Avenue, Lloyd Center, Hollywood, 60th, 82nd, and Gateway. Shuttle buses will be running every 5 to 7 minutes at those stops.
If they're out here at the Gateway Transit Center, for example, they'll see a big sign that is directing them to the shuttle bus location.
Riders will need extra time. TriMet says plan for an extra 30 minutes.
Don't slow down my daily flow, getting to work on time and whatnot. Very unfortunate.
Well, it is a bit of a trouble since I do ride the MAX regularly.
As for security, TriMet says it will have more staff on site, including supervisors, not only to keep an eye on things and keep riders safe, but also directing people to where they need to go.
And if somebody is out here at the Gateway Transit Center, for example, even if they're out here at 2 in the morning, they'll see somebody. I was out here at 2 in the morning this morning, and there were people out.
Again, these big changes come on Sunday and will last 3 weeks. Kyle Iboshi, KGW News.
Well, new this evening, police in Hillsborough are calling it marble mischief. They say somebody is going around town shooting out car windows and house windows with, yes, marbles. Let's get to Mike Benner in the newsroom. Mike, this sounds pretty unusual, and for the victims, expensive. Any idea how many people have been affected here?
Yeah, David, I asked that very question to Hillsborough police. They got back to me late this afternoon saying they're investigating at least 20 incidents right now. And you're right, this is costly and beyond frustrating.
David Umbarger has lived at the corner of Northwest Garibaldi and Dennis in Hillsborough for 5 years. He's been in the neighborhood for even longer. He describes it as peaceful. But the pieces of a broken car window in his front garden bed are now giving him pause.
My wife wanted me to clean the garage out so we could get the car in.
Umbarger says late last week he walked out of his house and jumped in his SUV and noticed a hole in the back window.
At first I thought it was shot out, maybe by a gun or something, but I possibly would have heard that. And he seemed to think that it was a slingshot that was doing it with blue marbles.
That's what the responding police officer told Umbarger, who ultimately paid hundreds of dollars out of pocket to replace the damaged window.
I'm on a fixed income. I'm retired, so it doesn't help to have to throw that kind of money out for some kind of prank or whatever's going on.
This is the new window. I had this put in by Dr. Glass in Portland. They did an incredible job.
Daniel Atkins can empathize with Umbarger. Atkins also lives in Hillsborough and also had his car window shot out. It happened earlier this week.
Honestly, I don't know who these people are. I don't know why they would do this. I don't know who drives around town vandalizing, shooting people's windows out, shooting their homes, shooting their cars. It's insane to me.
Car windows and home windows, police say. The targets of a vandal or vandals, armed with marbles in all likelihood. While the total number of victims is unclear, investigators say a 2004 Acura TL and a 2004 Subaru Forester are possible vehicles of interest. However, a neighbor who gave us this surveillance video thinks a Ford Escape may be involved. Regardless,
I want them caught. They need to be caught. These random acts of violence cannot happen. It's just senseless.
It's a sentiment echoed by David Umbarger, who's calling the whole thing childish.
Hope these guys are caught.
I sure do, and if they do, I'll be the first one to prosecute.
All right, so here's what detectives with the Hillsborough Police Department need from those of you at home. If you think you know anything about this case, maybe recognize those cars, or if you think it may be a victim, pick up the phone and give police a call. They'd really appreciate it. David?
Such a bizarre case. Thank you, Mike. A driver has been arrested for a hit and run in Aloha that left an elderly man dead. 55-year-old Anthony Tenorio now faces manslaughter, DUI, and felony hit and run charges. The crash was last night near Southwest Kinnaman Road and 188th Avenue. Sheriff's deputies say they were clearing another call nearby when they heard the sound of this collision. They ran over and saw the victim, 85-year-old James Park, lying just off the road and a car driving away. Apparently, Park was walking home when he was hit. Deputies say security camera video and witnesses led them to Tenorio's car a few blocks away. Even more concerning, deputies say as they were searching the suspect's car, they found evidence he may have hit another person. So now they're seeking tips on the suspect's car. It's a charcoal gray 2005 Ford Explorer, similar to this, with Oregon license plate 519CRU. Call the Washington County Sheriff's Department if you have any information. Kip Kinkle, the convicted Thurston High School killer, is reportedly asking to be released from prison. Now, Kinkle was a high school student in 1998 when he killed his parents and two students at Springfield's Thurston High. He was sentenced to 112 years in prison. OPB reporting Kinkle's lawyer says he is now entitled to a hearing to consider whether he is capable of rehabilitation because he was 15 at the time of the murders and had undiagnosed and untreated schizophrenia. But the State Parole Board reportedly says it can't hold that hearing because Kinkle was not technically given a life sentence. So he is now petitioning the Oregon Supreme Court to intervene. Let's get to an update this evening on the Interstate Bridge project with a new span in the works aimed to withstand an earthquake and handle other modes of travel. Tim Gordon is along the Columbia this evening. Tim, we have seen some design options. The update tonight, Oregon's now looking to cap the cost of the bridge before it commits to the funding. What do we know?
Well, David, the cap is one of several amendments that Oregon lawmakers are considering. So in other words, it is not a done deal, but if it stands as is, it would put a cap of $6.3 billion on the total cost to replace the Interstate Bridge, which is more than $1 billion less than the high end of the estimate. Now, there is a little doubt that the Interstate Bridge, at more than 100 years old, can't last forever. Previous plans have faltered, and now the latest effort, many feel, must succeed. The replacement cost is estimated at $5.9 billion, but has a range from $5 to $7.5 billion. Federal money and expected bridge tolling would pay for the majority of it, but each state would have to commit to pay $1 billion apiece. Now, Washington has done that, and Oregon is working on it. And as we said, Oregon's billion-dollar effort currently comes with a cost cap of $6.3 billion as part of the deal. But that is open for discussion, according to the co-chair of the bridge effort in Oregon.
I was one of the individuals that asked for it to be in there at this point so that we can have further conversation in deciding if it is a reasonable number. I think it gives us enough room to move and do a good job with the bridge design, the resiliency, and also the safety issues that we face there for that replacement.
And Representative McLean there feels confident Oregon lawmakers will make the billion-dollar commitment this session to replace the Interstate Bridge. Meanwhile, on the other side of the river, Washington lawmakers have moved on from that, and now they're discussing the tolling aspect on the Interstate Bridge, which would help pay for a new one. David, back to you.